Hey, Sarah, how you doing today?
I'm good, Fatboy. How are you?
Excellent. 4 days to Christmas. I'm quite thrilled, if I must say.
Oh, really? How come? How so?
I mean, it's Christmas. How can you not be thrilled? You're not excited?
Know. You never have the spirit of Christmas. I remember last year I literally had to push it down your throat.
That's right. You had to put a gun to my head for us to set up the Christmas tree in the office. But we did eventually.
Yeah.
And so here we are. You see, I'm even wearing red like it's Christmas.
You're very
already.
festive.
Already.
Good for you. See?
But I would like to know what's popping today.
Well, a lot has been happening. Elon Musk did set a poll on Twitter saying that if people voted him out as CEO, he would step down. But then he later, kind of played around it, And now Snoop Dogg also goes on to say that he asked the question, should I?
I saw that. So Snoop is trolling Elon by offering to be the CEO.
Yes, he is.
So you know what I think about the Elon thing, though?
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling he was planning to step down anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where if you're planning to do something, at least have fun with it before it actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be surprised if he genuinely wanted to know people's opinions on whether or not he should stay on as CEO.
But he knows that people have not liked him being CEO from the get-go.
Clearly.
He knew that. So why is he acting, surprised or different about it? But that's not what's really popping.
Mm-hmm.
What's really popping, and I know you're going to like this story, is that Amber Heard has decided to settle her defamation case against Johnny Depp.
So she lost the case, right?
Yes, she did.
And Johnny Depp was awarded, what, 15 million?
They say 15 million, but some articles say about 10 million US
So
dollars.
I thought it was just a matter of her paying. What is this settlement BS?
Well, now listen. This is what happened. Well, Amber Heard will pay Johnny Depp 1 million US dollars. That's about 820,000 pounds in a settlement for their defamation suit. And we covered that story extensively right here on What's Popping. It was very high profile. Well, in June, a Virginia jury mostly sided with Mr. Johnny Depp, finding that Amber Heard had defamed him in an article in which she called herself a victim of abuse. And announcing in her statement, she went on to say that the decision was not an act of concession. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And,
Concession.
Concession. Well done. Concession. That's the word. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for being sharp. Concession. And then earlier this month, she filed an appeal in the case asking for the jury's verdict to reverse their appeal or for a new trial to entirely begin. But in her statement that she later released, and this is the last one, she went on to say that she made the decision, or rather the choice, to settle because she lost faith in the American legal system. And she went on to say this, and I quote, "Even if my U.S. appeal is successful, the best outcome would be a retrial, and I simply cannot go through that again." Remember, they had the same case done in London about 2 years ago where she won and Johnny Depp lost the case. And then he sued her in the United States and he won. But this is what she had to say. Just listen.
Amber Heard.
I don't care what one thinks about me or what judgments you want to make about what happened in the privacy of my own home and my marriage behind closed doors. I don't presume the average person should know those things, and so I don't take it personally. But even somebody who is sure I'm deserving of all this hate and vitriol, even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation. You cannot tell me
Yes, I can.
that you think that this has been fair.
Yes, I can. So
Yes, go on. There's still more.
there's still more?
There's still more. Go
More
on.
whining.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Light way to say it. The jury looked at the evidence you presented. They listened to your testimony and they did not believe you. They thought you were lying.
How could, I'll put it this way, how could they make a judgment? How could they not come to that conclusion? They had sat in those seats and heard over 3 weeks of nonstop, relentless testimony from paid employees and towards the end of the trial, randos, as I say.
So you
But-
don't blame the jury?
I don't blame them. It wasn't I don't blame them. I actually understand. He's a beloved character, and people feel they know him. He's a fantastic actor.
Their job is to not be dazzled by that. Their job is to look at the facts and the evidence. And they did not believe your testimony or your evidence.
Again, how could they, after listening to 3.5 weeks of testimony about how I was a non-credible person, not to believe a word that came out of my mouth?
For me, listening to her whole interview, because this is the first time she's speaking up after, having lost the case, she is, I don't know if I believe, I don't think I believe her, because there's one thing that stood out to me in her statement. She said, how can I expect an average person to understand what happens in the privacy of my marriage in my home?
Well,
right there, she lacks humility completely by trying to think that there's a whole different social class or status, and people who are not of her class or status can never fathom that things like that.
So in other words, we the peasants are too stupid to understand what's true and what's not.
Exactly.
A
That
shame.
for me just irked me, and it has left a very bad taste in my mouth.
Well, I mean, when she was saying all those things about Johnny Depp, she was expecting to be believed by people when she alleged domestic abuse and so forth. I don't know, man. Let her eat humble pie. He's let her off easy.
He really has. And the best part about this is that Johnny Depp is going to take the money that she's going to be paying him, and he's just going to, give it to different charities.
And I don't even see it as money taken from her, because let's not forget there had been a payment made to her by Johnny to the tune of $7 million, I believe, which she claimed she would give to charity, which she did not.
Yes.
So, or at least not yet, at least as of the time of the trial. So let her just take $1 million from that, give it to Johnny. Johnny donates it to charity. No harm done. She's really being let off easy.
She really is. And during the trial, one thing that I did realize is that Johnny Depp did not deny any wrongdoing on his part, because what I saw from their trial, or them sharing their stories, is that they were in a very toxic relationship and they both hurt each other. But for her, she goes on to vehemently deny everything, even when she is caught recorded saying these things, admitting to having punched him, admitting to having insulted him and assaulted him and verbally abusing him, and she still goes on to deny it. And that right there is just not a good look.
So do you think she'd be doing herself a favor by simply keeping quiet and just settling and letting this whole thing just go away?
She should have just kept quiet from the beginning. Actually, from the get-go, she should have decided to settle before even going to court. Like, that is what a smart person would have done. And another thing that just goes on to prove her guilt to me is that she is concerned. Because if you're an innocent person, you can never ever even begin to fathom putting in a situation saying, even if I did it, you get it. Look at the social media responses. You can't say that there was a fair, a fair, what's
representation?
The word? Representation of both sides. That is her side's job, to make her, to plead her case. You understand?
And they failed.
Yeah. Because they had nothing to help her plead her case.
So what do you think the future holds for her? Where does she go from here?
You know what? The same energy we give to male sexual predators or men who abuse women and whatnot. I believe that if you're a perpetrator, you have to suffer the consequences. And she's here crying foul, saying the justice system has failed her, and she's trying to use the fact that she's a woman to, try and justify that.
That is
wrong.
As always.
That is very, very, very wrong.
Okay, well,
She
anyway.
should not do that.
And what else is popping?
Harvey Weinstein is what's popping.
Wow. Is that by coincidence or no coincidence?
It's I put the stories
From one
together.
scummy person to another.
You know what? I put this together. Only difference is that one is male and one is female, and they should get the same equal treatment, because Harvey Weinstein did horrible things, and he's a horrible person. He has been found guilty again.
Wait a minute. I thought he's in jail already.
Yes, he is, but
He was.
he's facing up to 24 years in prison if he gets sentenced, because he was accused for raping a woman.
Okay.
Yes. And he was found guilty by a Los Angeles jury of raping this woman. And he's currently already serving 23 years in jail after he was convicted of rape and sexual assault at his first trial in New York. That was about 2 years ago.
So how many more years have they added on to his lengthy sentence?
So he's serving 23 now.
Uh-huh.
So he may get another sentence of 24. That is about what? Quick maths.
He's going to die in jail.
47 basically is going to die in jail because he's already 70 years old right now.
And my understanding is that he is, or at least was, a wealthy man. Is there no way that his victims, I'm not sure how badly they feel about what happened, but would they not have been happy to get some compensation?
No, I don't think so, because he's accused, and this is the thing, the victims are not looking for compensation or money in this case. They just want justice for what he did, because he's being accused for luring these women into meetings and then attacking them.
I remember Lupita wrote an op-ed. Was it in the New York Times?
Yeah.
Lupita Nyong'o, the actress. And I think she was at some sort of event, and she was invited to his room.
Yeah.
And in her case, she said nothing happened, but that she felt very uncomfortable. And apparently he did make some suggestions towards
she said
something
that
happening.
He did open the door. He invited her in and he was wearing a robe or a towel. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, so let him get what he deserves. Let them all get what they deserve. I'm not here gloating, but there's just so many awful people in this world, and they definitely have to get what they deserve. Like, get it.
Okay. So that'll teach him and men everywhere to be very careful.
To be very careful. Remember the Harvey Weinstein case is the one that sparked the Me Too movement?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it did. And I'm glad that it, put some bad people away and it drew some boundaries. But then again, it also led to a lot of false accusations. And a lot of innocent people also got themselves in, a lot of unnecessary trouble.
Johnny Depp, as an example.
Johnny Depp, EJ, yes.
So what if Harvey Weinstein hires Bill Cosby's lawyers? You don't think he'd have a better outcome?
No, why do you want this man to be out?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, just from a strictly strategic standpoint, like if I were in his shoes, I'd be thinking maybe my lawyer didn't do me good.
You see where the difference is that some of Bill Cosby's victims settled and he paid them money. Harvey Weinstein's victims don't want the money. You get?
Wow. They took it really personally.
It is. As they should, Fatboy. As they should. They don't want the money, so he has to do time. Let him do it and let him think long and hard for the things that he has done.
It's going to be a long 40-odd years for this man in jail, and he'll probably die there.
Yeah.
So sad.
He's already
for
70,
all concerned.
So he's already 70, so he's really, really close to the finishing line.